NextEra Energy recently announced plans to purchase Dominion Energy in a deal that could potentially create the world's largest utility company. These two companies together provide power to over 10 million customers in North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, and Florida, but the impact will likely be nationwide. Hi, I'm V. I watch current events and government money and see what's going on and see if it's investable. This is a pretty big deal. Dominion powers Northern Virginia, meaning it powers the world's largest data center market. It's a market cap of around $50 billion. NextEra is currently the S&P 500's largest utility by market value, the cap exceeding $190 billion. They're involved in a lot of natural gas and nuclear energy generation. Their powers combined, they would be the world's largest renewable energy and battery storage provider, as well as the U.S. leader in natural gas production and the second largest nuclear power generator. It would make them the third largest energy company, right behind ExxonMobil and Chevron. NextEra wants to build around 30 data center hubs to meet AI demand. About 13% of all data centers are in Northern Virginia. We're also working with Google/Alphabet to reopen the shuttered Duane Arnold nuclear plant in Iowa. NextEra has increased its natural gas investments during Trump's second term of office. That might have something to do with the big, beautiful budget. There are some reports that are saying that data centers will be between 7 and 16% of all U.S. power consumed by 2030, and NextEra expects its business to grow by about 11% to handle data centers. Dominion is projecting that they need to double their power output by the 2040s. There's a lot of really cool infrastructure projects wrapped up in this, including the $11.5 billion still incomplete Virginia coastal offshore wind farm and a huge gas plant they just announced for Cumberland County. The main thing to remember here is big if true. This deal still has to go through a lot of federal regulators, including the Nuclear Commission, as well as 4 state regulators. NextEra has also attempted to purchase utilities in Texas, Hawaii, and South Carolina, like Duke Energy. They have failed due to the regulatory process each time. People are already complaining about the cost of living, and anytime a merger happens, there's a potential for a big rate increase. Some of the areas covered by these utilities have seen a 10% or more price increase in their residential power bills over the last year alone, which has finally garnered the attention of politicians. Most customers in these provider areas do not have the option to choose their power provider, and they're stuck being paid whatever they're told, without much recourse. There's not exactly a lot of competition here. The governor of Virginia recently said it was too early for her to take a stand one way or the other about this merger, but she also just signed a bill to make data centers responsible for their electricity costs, which seems like they should have been the whole time. NextEra has promised that they would reimburse Dominion customers in Virginia and the Carolinas for $2.25 billion in bill credits over 2 years. That's really up to the individual states to determine who, if anyone, sees those and how much. But some sources are saying that that translates to about $25 off of everyone's monthly bill through 2028. Many are saying those bill credits won't be enough, and residents should expect to see much higher bills. In 2019, NextEra bought the Northwestern Florida utility Gulf Power. Those customers, after adjusting for inflation, are paying about 20% more. Utilities also pass on the costs to repair power lines and other equipment onto customers after natural disasters, and we're only having more of those, and especially in these areas. Dominion is promising its customers to keep bills affordable for what that's worth. The current plan is to keep the leadership team at Dominion in Richmond for the immediate future, guaranteeing employment for the staff for 18 months after the deal closes and compensation for 24 months. Those are two very different things, and they hint at what may happen after those 18 months. They don't expect this deal to be finalized for at least 12 to 18 months. While the federal government may drop the ball as they are wont to do, state officials seem to be scrutinizing this extremely heavily because of the sheer size of the deal and its possible impacts. It's going to be difficult to effectively regulate such a large utility spread across so many different states, all of which who have different rules and legal proceedings. Also, some green energy groups that are campaigning against this due to NextEra's deeply troubling track record in Florida, namely actions made by their subsidiary, Florida Power and Light. And I'm just going to read some of these allegations. Allegedly, Florida Power and Light played a central role in scandals to engineer election results by running ghost candidates to siphon votes away from legislatures who criticized the utility, conducted surveillance of journalists critical of the utility, offered a job at an invented organization to a local politician to try to pave the way towards the takeover of a municipal utility, controlled the operations of political news outlets to secure favorable coverage, as well as co-opted the officials of civil rights organizations, namely the Florida NAACP. recently settled their security frauds issues, but that doesn't make them exactly scrupulous. NextEra has also written large checks for Donald Trump, both for the ballroom and the inauguration, and is the largest contributor of political organizations known as the 527s, which are about 36 companies, individuals, and foundations that can raise unlimited funds to influence elections. Shockingly, the second place contributor to the 527s is actually Dominion Energy. So how do you feel about this merger? How do you feel about this Florida Power and Light, and why has that not been bigger news? Let me know in the comments. Follow for more.